27 hours from the first college football game of the season. It's about that time, and we're here to break it all down. Welcome to Stadium Pulse on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network, presented by Nimnik Buick GMC and the Southside Baseball Association. I'm Jason Hamby. Happy Friday, everybody. We got one more day. We've been scratching the itch for 8 months. I was just making plans of what I'm going to do to watch the opener between Kansas State and Iowa State, and just to have that conversation, it feels good. It feels right. Welcome in. We got a lot to get to today. Does your team have a shot? Does your team have a shot? The headline today, the second half, we're going to be breaking down our full playoff brackets, 1 through 12, who wins the conference championship, who's the group of 5 winner, how far do the teams that we cover go? Does Florida even sneak in? I'm going to answer that for you right now. No, I'm not. How far will Georgia go? Who's the national championship? Who's the national championship matchup? We'll get to that and a lot more. UCF names a starting quarterback, Cam Fancher. We'll got to get to that as well. SEC announces they're going to 9 conference games very soon. They kind of bend the knee, if you will, to the Big Ten. Auburn claims 4 national titles on a random Tuesday, so that's fun. And Kansas State, we'll get a little preview of them versus Iowa State over there in Dublin as well. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Let's start on the SEC. All right, look, the SEC, Greg Sankey, he's known as the Darth villain of, I guess, college football nowadays, because somebody's got to do it. They kind of bend the knee to Tony Batiti, the AD, or not the AD, but the commissioner of the Big Ten. And now the SEC, not this year, obviously, but going forward, we'll be doing 9 conference games. Obviously, if you're unfamiliar, just a real quick elementary breakdown, you got 12 games. 8 of those, 8 are in conference. Then you normally have your 3 cupcakes, right? So for Florida, that's freaking LIU. Right, but this is give me your Austin Peays, your South Carolina States, your Marshalls. Who else do we got? You name it. Georgia State, Georgia Southern, all these teams. So you got 3 of those that you mix in. Your Charlottes, what a great football program they have. And then you'll get your one big out of conference, right? For Georgia in years past, that's been your Clemson, your Notre Dame, your Oregon. Right, so that's what makes up your schedule. Now you'll have 9 conference games, which is a side note, but should be mentioned in this conversation. You're losing your cupcake game, one of your 3. Which again, are these games important? No, not necessarily to the fans, but they are to the football program. Right, so when Florida pays $1.5 million to Long Island University, that's what's keeping their program afloat. Otherwise, scrap the program, or we're not getting new helmets for a couple years, or we're going to have to fire some of our position coaches. Right, this is what makes $1.5 million is nothing for Florida or Georgia, anybody in the SEC, anybody even in the Power 4. But for Long Island University, for Austin Peay, for Charlotte, you name it, that's half their budget. Right, so you're just going to get a lot less football in the coming years because less cupcake games. So there's pros and cons of everything. So this is what the Big Ten, this is what Andy Batiti wanted, or Tony Batiti, excuse me. If you rewind to the SEC media days in just the last couple of years in general, this is the exact opposite of what SEC coaches have wanted. Right, you'll hear from SEC, we already have the hardest schedules in football. Why add another game, right? And obviously your Big Ten hoo-ahs will come out of the woodwork shouting that, their schedule isn't as hard. You can argue against the wall if you want to. The fact of the matter is that the SEC obviously is the hardest schedule in the sport. If you want to, if you're going to tell me that, okay, I'll add another conference game. All right, well, that's all good and fine and dandy if I got to go at Purdue or at Northwestern or at Rutgers. I mean, the list goes on. How much? I don't know. I don't think we have a lot of Big Ten stands in our who are avid watchers of this program. So I don't even know if I have to make that point. It's probably a good thing. I don't know if we would want them anyway. No, we do want you, and we appreciate any Big Ten fans who are watching. But the point remains. I mean, yeah, if it's Purdue or Northwestern, yeah, I mean, who cares? I'll add that game. It's another thing if that becomes A&M, Texas A&M, or Oklahoma, or one of these other schools. It's a lot big. It's a lot of a difference. So when they go to 9 games, conference games, this was always going to happen. The writing was on the wall for a couple years, and I'll explain that more in just a second. But here's the thing. This is not that big of a deal if you're an SEC team because you're about to get automatic qualifiers and automatic bids, right? The SEC and the Big Ten are both about to have 4 spots reserved for them each in the playoff. So if that's not the case, obviously right now, the current landscape of college football in the playoff format, SEC, all these conferences are competing against each other to get the most representatives, right? That's why schedule matters so much. You're trying to prove that it's your schedule that you played, your SEC schedule is harder so you can get in above the 9-3 team that's out of the Big Ten, right? Well, whenever this automatic qualifier thing goes through, we have 4 teams each. Well, then you're no longer competing against other conferences. You're only competing against your own, right? So it won't be as big of a factor that you're playing 9 conference games instead of 8 every year because you just have to be in the top 4 of the SEC, right? So that's kind of the thing that's, I would guess, is the thing that Sankey was preaching to all of these SEC head football coaches who didn't want to have that other game, right? So here's the timing of this thing is the big part, right? Because the SEC just made the College Football Committee come out and say, look, we're going to put a little extra criteria in for strength of schedule, right? So the timing on this thing is very important. Here's what I don't know. The committee just came out and also said that every team in the Power 4 will be required to play a quality out-of-conference team also in the Power 4. So that would mean if you're Florida or Georgia, you have to play a quality, that's what the quotation says, opponent either in the Big Ten, the Big 12, or the ACC. I don't know what quality even means. Does that mean any other team? And where I'm getting with that is, will Florida be able to check the box with their out-of-conference quality team by playing Florida State? Or else, if not, you're going to lose that rivalry game. Will Georgia Tech count for Georgia as their quality out-of-conference opponent? If not, you're going to lose that rivalry game as well, right? So that's what we'll be keeping an eye on. With the 9-game schedule, last part on this, part of that is that every SEC team is going to have 3 teams that they play every single year. Other than that, it's going to be on a rotation. You're going to play every other year. Right, so there's a lot of rivalries is what makes college football great. It's what makes the SEC great. There's a ton of them. Right, so which teams are going to be, the 3 teams? We have 2 years ago, this was leaked. I guess it was a leak, or a lot of people put it out. It wasn't an official report, but a lot of official reporters put it out. It was, this came from the SEC office, and this was, they were kind of brainstorming who each team would have as their 3 annual opponents. So here it is. Obviously, we'll headline it with Georgia. So their annual opponents would be Auburn, Florida, and Kentucky. They play them every year, and that's it, right? The other teams would be on a rotator because you have 6 other games in conference. You'd play 6 one year, 6 the other, and then flip it, and you'd have home and away. So, for example, Georgia, if this would be the case, then Tennessee is not one of those teams, which means Tennessee and Georgia don't play every year. They play every other year and every 4, so in 2027, for example, they'd be home in Athens. 2029, they'd play again, and they'd be in Neyland, right? Also, I hope this is not the case because Florida's 3 opponents would be Georgia, Oklahoma, and South Carolina. Like, that's pretty pathetic. I don't know who's coming up with this. I don't know how set in stone this thing is, but I could think of a lot of other annual opponents that Florida should have. Oklahoma would probably be around the 14th team that I would suggest. South Carolina even. I mean, it's okay, but where's Tennessee? You're going to tell me I don't get Florida, Tennessee? You're going to tell me I don't get Florida, Kentucky? That annual matchup where there's a barn burner up in Lexington, Kentucky always seems to find a way to be in. Man, that's appointment television right there. I can't miss that. I just look, if Georgia's not going to be able to play Auburn and Florida's not going to be able to play Tennessee every year, I mean, that's one less weekend where you're really amped, and there's a draw to go. Obviously, there's some you would argue, yeah. Well, now you're going to be playing, like Georgia's never been to Kyle Field. They've never played A&M at A&M. A lot of Georgia fans would probably would save up their Christmas money and go to a game like that. But I think if you ask the majority of fans, I'd rather be a guarantee where I'm playing Tennessee every year. And forget this. Who knew that Vanderbilt and Auburn was such a big rivalry? I mean, holy cow. If I had to make a suggestion, it was up to me, I'd say you get 4. You get 4 annual opponents, so that way Georgia's playing Florida, Auburn, Tennessee, and South Carolina. That means Florida would be able to play Georgia, Auburn, Tennessee, and LSU, right? Because you're going to lose that one as well. Tennessee is going to be able to play Georgia, Florida, Kentucky, and Bama. Bama, Tennessee, that's a great rivalry. Don't want to lose that. So just wanted to throw this, be on the lookout for this. This is where the future of the SEC is headed. Auburn on this list would have Alabama, Georgia, and Vanderbilt. So I guess, they at least guarantee themselves one win every couple of years if they're able to handle Vandy. I'm not sure how many wins Auburn would be able to claim. However, Auburn is claiming 4 national titles out of nowhere. They just decided, hey, you know what? It's Tuesday, August what? I don't know what it was. What's today? The 22nd? August 19th, 2025. We have a game in 2 weeks. Our fan base is just 24/7 pissed at us because they have no idea what to expect. Our head football coach just told our fan base that he expects all 3 quarterbacks to play in week 1. Whenever have you ever heard anything like that, especially with Hugh Freeze, who's supposed to be the quarterback guy? So yeah, this is a great chance for us to go out and let's just make national headlines. Let's divert all attention and let's claim a national title from 1910. And we'll throw in one from 1914. And then we'll throw in from 1958. And yeah, why not? 2004, where there was actually a champion in the BCS USC. Well, they had to vacate it. So let's just go ahead and claim that one as well. I mean, what in the world are we doing? And they deserve to be clowned. They deserve to be made fun of. However, be very careful because Bama fans, y'all cannot be casting the first stone. Little history lesson, Bama's got 18 national titles that they claim. They've only actually won 9 outright. So Bama's pulling we get a title, just for being in the conversation. So, I mean, I'm sure Bama fans have been all over this in the last week. Point your finger at yourself. 18 national titles y'all are claiming. Just come up with that's just fuzzy math. I don't know. We're just coming with numbers out of thin air. Obviously, if anybody knows anything about claiming national titles, I do. I'm an alumni of UCF. Okay? I mean, look. I'm a junior in high school. I don't know where I'm going, and I am ripping UCF for claiming a title in 2017. Fast forward a year, and now I'm deciding that I'm going to go there, and I'm like, oh, gosh, I can't. I mean, what am I going to do if I'm in that stadium and I have to look up and I see 2017 national champions? I think I'm gonna start rooting for the other team because that's insane. It's freaking pathetic. So UCF fans, I don't know, maybe y'all are making fun of Auburn too. I mean, you do the same to yourself. I mean, just because you have an undefeated season doesn't mean you get to claim a national title. And look, we're going to have a lot of them in the chat. We already do. Nate Adams in the chat, and he's not going to want to hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Zach, you don't want to hear this, but who cares? It wasn't that long ago that FSU fans were claiming the same thing. Oh, I mean, hey, we were 13-0. We should have been the national champions. Now, are you claiming a national title on the same level Auburn and UCF fans? Are you hanging it on the whatever it's called at your stadium? No, you're not. But y'all are having that conversation, and we're not going to get into it because we don't have time. We could go on for the next 45 minutes, but that 63-3 box score would say, you know, that.
Whoa. Okay, here we go.
Here he comes.
I stood for it for a second, and I can't do it anymore. We're talking about the 63-6-3 box score, whatever it was.
Yeah. Come on.
That's horse crap. Okay, that's horse crap.
Okay.
Here's the problem: is we didn't play anybody that game.
We didn't play anybody.
No. We didn't play anybody that game.
Yeah,
you know that, Jason.
Bro.
You
we know.
Better. Okay.
But be an actual program and don't lose by 60.
Okay. I appreciate the input.
Don't lose by 60.
I'll be sure to tell Norvell whenever I see him next week. What I want to make clear is that I was so frustrated. I've actually come to peace, believe it or not, despite this segment, that Florida State didn't make the 14 playoff. I'm aware, and I'm sad about it, and I'm going to get over it. Okay?
Doesn't sound like it, but go ahead.
It doesn't sound like it. Okay. Well, here's the thing.
Okay.
Patience is a virtue, Jason.
Stop it.
And so what I need to make clear is that I don't care that Jordan Travis was injured. I understand that that's like the main reason that we didn't make the playoff that year. Horse crap. We send a backup player to Gainesville, which isn't saying much, and under the lights, we beat them. Okay? It was fantastic to watch Florida lose to our backup quarterback. As a Georgia fan, you probably agree. But we're not claiming national titles like Auburn is, like Alabama has, like UCF has. But we deserve to be in that playoff. And if you're an SEC fan, you're going to be against it because, well, you've been taught worse.
You've been taught right. Look,
okay.
I just wanted to throw that one in there just because, why not? I mean, I have the capabilities to. And obviously, I probably should have known that it was going to turn into this. And I just want to say this. This is how I'll end it. I'll end it peacefully and cordially by saying just the fact that you got this worked up about it means that something's in the air. And that something's in the air is that college football is back. So cheers to that. Cheers to that.
I get down with that. Cheers to that.
We got games tomorrow. All right. Let's move on. Despite Auburn's absolute embarrassment of a PR firm, I really want to be a fly. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall in that conversation. I mean, yeah. I mean, hey, what's the update on how our fan base is feeling about our football team? Well, Hugh Freeze just told them we're playing 3 quarterbacks. All right, cool. Sounds like we need to claim 4 national titles to make up for it. All right. Anyway, speaking of a team that had 3 quarterbacks and has just named one, UCF and Scott Frost have named Cam Fancher as the starting quarterback. Now, all offseason, this was the story. We've been talking about it here on Stadium Pulse on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network, week in and week out, every Friday. You got 3 quarterbacks, which obviously, if you're any kind of college football fan, that means you have 0. Right? If you have 2 quarterbacks, that means you have 0. Right? But if you name one, then you name one. Right? And that's always the goal. Now, a lot of these coaches try to play, coy a little bit and don't want to give Jacksonville State, their defensive coordinator, a leg up, and they'll postpone it. So I applaud Scott Frost for naming a quarterback, and we've seen a lot of quarterbacks named in the last week: Notre Dame, Alabama, just to name a few. But all offseason, and especially when Frost still got there, he goes and gets Taven Jackson from Indiana, who first came from Tennessee. Right? He's able to keep Ja'Cory Brown, who got a lot of playing time last year. And then Cam Fancher transfers from FAU, formerly Marshall, and there's not a headline about it. And I was right there with you. That seemed just like a depth piece. You have to have 4 quarterbacks on your roster, and UCF, when Scott Frost got there, had 1. So we just got to fill out the room. And that's what it felt like Cam Fancher was, at least for me, back in whatever this was, March or April. Well, fast forward to now, he's your starting quarterback. They have given, from all indications, Fancher, Brown, and Taven Jackson all equal reps to win this job, and Fancher's come out on top. Where I would caution is to say this might mean that this might be more about Taven Jackson and Ja'Cory Brown being that disappointing rather than it is more about Cam Fancher winning the job. Right? To me, obviously, Scott Frost is going the way of experience, right? Cam Fancher has, I believe, 25 career college starts across Marshall and FAU. Don't look up the stats on them. Actually, I mean, if you want, you could go back and listen. Last week, we kind of broke down. They're not good, but neither of these three guys are. They all have like 1-to-1 touchdown to interception ratios and losing records as far as win-loss. That's just the facts of the matter. But this is definitely a play for experience. He's got 25 career starts. Okay? To me, even more than the experience is, I think Scott Frost, if I'm reading the tea leaves here, is simply going with the guy he thinks is going to turn the football over the least. Is going to just find a way to get the ball in playmakers' hands. And I do believe that with Domercan and Black that UCF has weapons on the outside. Frost is just going with the guy who can get the ball to them any way possible without throwing the football to the other team. I think that's what Frost and Mackenzie Milton were kind of hinting at, especially over fall camp, is that Taven Jackson and Ja'Cory Brown just cannot stop turning the football over, right? And if that's the case, and they can't stop turning the football over, you can't hand them the keys. I mean, look, at the end of the day, this is just week one, right? This is not necessarily, hey, Fancher's going to be our quarterback going, for the season. This is for week one, he will start. And I genuinely believe that's about as far as Frost is willing to put it in stone, put it in writing. Because your talent alone at UCF is going to take care of Jacksonville State. But at the same time, I mean, Jacksonville State is not, I should have pulled one of those cupcake teams that I mentioned at the beginning of the show, right? This is a 17-point spread. This is not a game where you could turn the ball over 3 times and expect to win. You've got to take care, unless you take turn the other team over as well. If you lose the turnover margin by 3 in this football game, you're going to lose. You can't afford that. So I think maybe what Frost is even just doing, hey, we got to secure a win in week one. We don't know how many guaranteed dubs we have on the schedule. We have to make sure, for the sake of for the future here, from recruiting to fan base interest to everything, that we secure a dominant win week one. If we host Jacksonville State and win by 1 score, that's going to be bad news. So let's go ahead and get the guy who's going to get the ball in the playmaker's hands, not turn the football over and rely on our athletes, and let's get out of there with a 24-point win and move on. I think they have, who is it week 2? Texas A&T, Carolina A&T. That's one of those true cupcake games. That's a 40-point should-be win. NC A&T, thank you.
Yep.
And then you have a bye week in week 3 if you're the Knights. And then you host UNC. So the question now is, how long is Fancher's leash? Will he last to UNC? If it were me, I'd say it's even odds that he plays as a starting quarterback against the Tar Heels. And that's all I think Scott Frost would be willing to commit to. I would not be surprised if it's somebody else, if it's Ja'Cory or Taven come week 4 or 5 after you've actually had a test against Bill Belichick's Tar Heels. Now, last point on this, look, I just think it's disappointing for Taven Jackson. Obviously, he didn't earn the job. I think it was his for the taking from the jump, and he was the most exciting guy that you've had in that room in quite a while, in my opinion. Right? Again, Tennessee, Indiana, big-time recruit out of high school. For him not to be the starting quarterback, that's why Night Nation is pretty surprised and shocked with this announcement. And look, I mean, if he could transfer, I bet he would right now. If Taven Jackson could transfer and hit the portal, I bet he would. I bet his name would be in there right now. That he's not. I think he's that kind of player. Nothing against him, but I think that's the reality of the situation, the reality of the current landscape. The fact of the matter is he can't. So we'll see. Maybe he wins the job later on in the line, or did they just lose him? All right, I just got a compliment in my hair, so that means we should probably take a break. Look, football is here. It's right around the corner. It also means it's also baseball season, right? And if your youngins are local, you're a Jacksonville parent, you got to get them in set for rec season. If you're looking for a place for your son or daughter to play this fall, sign up with the Southside Baseball Association. You see their logo in the top right of the screen, SBA. They're at Glenlee and Holiday Park, founded last year, provide a fun and safe environment for kids. I mean, they start at 3U, go up all the way to 12U. They got volunteer coaches. If you have any questions, please reach out to the president, Michael Journey. I'll give you his number right here, 904-868-7665. Sign-ups end this Wednesday, August 27th, so get those in. Get this done. It's a great place to have your son or daughter be introduced and grow in baseball. SBA Southside Baseball Association. All right, we got to hit a break. We'll be right back with our full playoff predictions. I'll give you my 1 through 12. I'll give you my conference champions. It's probably, I mean, will there be a little rage bait in there? I don't know. You'll have to wait and see. I'll give you my 2025 title champion as well. So we will be back on Stadium Pulse on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Zach, do we have that video?
Yeah, we got it. You ready?
Yeah, let's send it to break with this video. You guys got to see this. If you're away from your phone, check this out really quick. This is last night. Obviously, high school football has started locally, and there's a play that you need to see. Obviously, you can tell that I'm doing a phenomenal job stalling right here. Let's see if we can't get this up. Here we go. Naeem Burrows, Naeem the Dream. This is Bowles. This is Clemson commit Naeem Burrows. There's a spin move. There's a juke. Put that guy on skates. Oh, here we go. Naeem Burrows is going to take this 50+, and that is why he's one of the top recruits in the Jacksonville area. This is Bowles' opener last night against the Monarch. They get the dub. We got more high school football tonight. I'll be at Ed White versus Trinity. You can catch all the highlights on the Blitz tonight on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network and on Fox 30. We'll be right back in a couple minutes.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC, we are professional grade.
Putting your needs first. It's the backbone of how First Florida Credit Union does business. In all honesty, you might as well be speaking another language when it comes to finances. Sure, I'm good with my money, but what am I missing in the fine print? That's what led me to First Florida Credit Union. They're the perfect choice for anyone starting their financial journey because they keep finances easy. Plus, they offer financial education and resources I can trust. So I'm always growing more confident. And as a young adult, I am constantly adding more responsibilities to my plate. From a car payment to a mortgage, it all adds up. Luckily, First Florida Credit Union makes sure it adds up in all the right places and not the wrong ones by offering better rates and lower fees than traditional banks, even if you're still trying to grow your credit. Because as a member-owned institution, First Florida genuinely puts people's needs first rather than focusing on profit. so I know as my needs change, they'll be right there to help me reach my goals. Check out firstflorida.org to learn how you can benefit too.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can get a free Connecticut reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Choose your own adventure. It's not just a saying, but a way of life here at Cycles of Jacksonville. And whether it's 2 wheels or 4 wheels, at Cycles of Jacksonville, a great adventure awaits. With brands like Honda, Vespa, Segway, and Triumph, Cycles of Jacksonville has you covered with their inventory featuring a 60,000 square foot building. If 4 wheels is more your thing, check out the largest selection of Honda Talons in the entire county. No matter what you're looking for, Cycles of Jacksonville is going to have the selection you need, all with great financing and rebates. Plus, if you're active duty military, Cycles of Jacksonville will offer you 0% financing along with great discounts for military and first responders. And when you want to get off the road and set sail, Cycles of Jacksonville has you covered with everything you need to get on the water. So if you're ready for a great adventure, let Cycles of Jacksonville be your guide. Located off Atlantic Boulevard, or check out their website at cyclesofjacksonville.com.
It's fast-paced,
Hands off on first down, and there goes Edward Vander.
high fly,
Wide open receiver. It's caught.
action-packed, weekend fun. Fun for the entire family. It's the Jacksonville Sharks.
I feel like anybody could play in this league. It's gotta be like backyard football, right?
Whoa! This ain't the Arena League, Brent. This the indoor league, and they play defense here.
It's a lot safer to just watch the professionals play. And watching is a lot of fun. A party in the stands at the arena for kids and adults. And it's indoors. Get out of the heat for the summer and watch the Sharks shine inside. Jacksonville Sharks football, season number 15. It's the Drive for 5, and it's still alive. Get your tickets at jacksharks.com. When it's time to get a new
All right, here we go. All aboard the Avery Johnson Kansas State Wildcats train. That's what I'm hopping on this year. We got football come noon tomorrow in Dublin. Kansas State hosting Rocco Becht and Iowa State. And this is going to be a fun one. Welcome back to the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Welcome back to Stadium Pulse, talking college football every single Friday. We talk and we check the pulse at all of our 5 schools: Miami, UCF, Florida State, UF, and the University of Georgia. But sometimes it extends all the way up to Dublin for Matt Campbell, Iowa State, Kansas State. And this game is important for obviously 2 reasons. One, it's the first game of the college football season. Say no more. Okay? 2, this game has playoff implications right off the bat in a way that FSU G-Tech last year in Dublin did not. Right? So obviously there was a big reason to watch that last year. And, FSU fans remember it very fondly. But this year, this has playoff implications. The Big 12 is wide open in a way that I don't know if we've seen a conference, at least a Power 4 conference, in a long time. There was no clear-cut front runner. And these are 2 ranked teams. These are 2 teams that a lot of people expect to be there at the end, that could potentially win the conference. And we have 2 good quarterbacks, Rocco Becht versus Avery Johnson. This is a good quarterback battle. And this is a quarterback conference. Not going to spend a whole lot of time in the Big 12, but I'll give you this rundown real quick. might be the best conference as far as returning quarterbacks depth. I don't necessarily want to say, more than the SEC, but more than you would definitely would think right off the bat for the Big 12. I mean, you got Josh Hoover, the two guys I just named, Becht, Avery Johnson. You got Josh Hoover from TCU, right? You got Sawyer Robinson from Baylor. I'm a big fan of his. You got Sam Levitt. Everybody thinks he's a sleeper Heisman candidate at ASU. We watched him on full display in the playoff last year. There's 5 pure throwers of the football right there, guys who are pretty dynamic. And so I'll give you a quick take on Kansas State and Iowa State before we get to our playoff predictions. I'm going to take the Wildcats. They're -3 in Dublin. Iowa State, obviously Becht is returning, but they just lost their top 2 receivers. Jags fans are probably well aware that they both went to the Texans in last year's NFL draft. So going on the in a neutral site, but a road game in a year without your top 2 weapons on the outside, probably going to take a while for your offense to get in rhythm. Kansas State has more returners, and I'm a fan of Avery Johnson. Like watching that guy throw the football. So I'm going to take Kansas State, and I'm also going to take Kansas State to make the college football playoff. I have them in the Big 12 championship game. I'm going to show you my bracket in just a second. But before we got to do this, I got to be on the record so that when none of this happens in about 5 months, you guys can clown me for it. Here is my championship, my conference championship, one by one. SEC championship. All right, I've got Texas and I've got Georgia. Okay, that's a square. I get it. ACC, Clemson over Miami. That's a square. I get it. Big Ten, I've got Ohio State over Penn State. I'm not going to believe in Drew Aller and James Franklin until I absolutely have to when they've proven it to me. That's probably a square as well. And in the Big 12, there are no squares because nobody has any idea what the heck's going to happen there. I have Baylor. Give me the fighting Baylor Bears and Sawyer Robertson winning the conference over Kansas State. So that, obviously, there's 8 teams that are in my playoff right there. Those 8 winners and losers of every conference. Now, that being said, so I got 4 teams left. Who's my group of 5? Give me the Tulane Green Wave representing this year with Jake Resclaff, obviously just coming over from BYU. They're going to represent the American. They're going to go undefeated in the conference. Now, they do have to play 2 tough out-of-conference games. They got to play Ole Miss and Duke. They'll probably lose by 3 scores in each of those football games. I don't care. They're going to go undefeated in the conference, and they're going to rep the American in the college football playoff as the 12 seed. So I've got 3 spots left. Let's see what we got. Go ahead and throw this up there, Zach. I've got Bama, South Carolina, and I've got Oregon. So here we go. This is how we're going to break this down. Tulane versus Penn State as an 11-1 loser of the Big Ten championship. I've got Penn State in that matchup. Miami comes in at 8 for me. Okay, they start with Notre Dame. And hold on, Zach, am I missing something here? Because Notre Dame is not on the screen.
Correct.
In a year, if I wanted to get one team right, one team, I would have Notre Dame on this screen. They are the shoe-in of all shoe-ins in a playoff format that is catered specifically to them, where all they've got to do is go 11-1, 10-2, and they're in. I don't have them making the college football playoff. I've got them starting 0-2. They visit Miami. Give me Beck in the Canes. They have a freshman quarterback, C.J. Carr. That's no slouch. Going to Miami, playing in that football game. I've got the Canes, and then Notre Dame hosts Texas A&M. Marcel Reed, that dude's a problem. A&M and Mike Elko, year 3. I'm taking A&M in that football game as well. And then here, look, I mean, once you start 0-2, all I need is one more L, and you're out. You got to go. I mean, 4 games that I'm about to tell you. Yes, they're be heavily favored in. But all I need is that one. I got at Arkansas versus Boise State versus USC and hosting Syracuse week 11. Brandon Brown, don't sleep on him now. Brandon Brown and the Fighting Orange. I've got Notre Dame losing 3 football games this year and missing the college football playoff. You will not see them in any playoff prediction that I will do. I'm going to hate watch them all year long. And I'm going to tell you that straight up. I'm going to hate watch Notre Dame all year long. And I'm going to root a player on their downfall. It's just what's going to happen. So what does that leave me with? That leaves with Miami getting it at the 8 seed because they are a 2-loss, one in the regular season and then the ACC championship to Clemson. And then I've got Bama. This is a lot to take in. I understand that. Bama's a 3-loss team that gets in. Baylor wins the conference. They're at 6. South Carolina, they go 9-3 with a win over Clemson. They get in. And then it's Oregon, and then it's Kansas State. Oregon has a very easy path with their schedule to the college football playoff as well. All right, so where do we go from there? We got Penn State, and we have Texas. Arch Manning's first matchup. Obviously, as we saw last year, the 5 is the best place you want to be. So Penn State, obviously, they don't get the bye. They don't win the conference. I'm not betting on them, but they do have the 5. They have a decent lie here, if you will, with hosting Tulane and building momentum. There's an argument that you don't want to take this week off. We'll see how that plays off. It'll probably take a couple years for us to determine that. But I have them losing regardless to Arch Manning and Texas. Then we have Alabama, Ohio State. Give me Ohio State there. Clemson and South Carolina. So to whatever extent I'm out on Notre Dame, this year I'm in on South Carolina. I think Lenora Sellers is an unbelievable football player, is my Heisman candidate this year, and I have them sneaking in the college football playoff, beating Baylor, beating Clemson, and going to the semifinal. That's where they will meet Georgia, who will handle Oregon, and that's where South Carolina will bow out of this thing. So I mean, look, hey, Homer, give me the Dogs over South Carolina. Give me the Dogs over Texas to come back and win a national title. Next week on our show, obviously a lot closer to win all of the teams, which is typically week 1, with this week being week 0. I'm going to give you every reason why Georgia's going to win the national title. I'm going to give you every reason why they're going to win the SEC championship. I have them at 11-1, losing in the regular season, hosting Texas, and then beating them in a rematch for the SEC championship, securing the 2 seed, and beating them in the 3rd matchup for
this is insane.
The title. With that being said,
this is insane, dude.
Go nuts, Zach. What you got?
Dude, okay. First of all, I get being a homer. I get being a fan. I'm sitting here and I'm going to talk about how Florida State's going to be the best team in the nation when we're going to get 8 wins this year. So
you just got on the show. Don't sabotage yourself.
I understand. I'm not sabotaging nothing. We're a fantastic program with a blip on the radar with a 2-10 season, which Auburn had in 2012, and they went to the Natty in 2013.
That's what you're doing?
I'm not doing it right now.
We're
not opening this. We're not opening this up right now. I'm just previewing a can of worms.
Chat.
The next thing that I want to freaking bring up is that you're such an SEC home bag. It's disgusting. There's a real possibility that you genuinely believe that there's going to be 4 SEC teams in the Final Four, and one of them being South Carolina. I get
3, pal.
No. I know. I'm saying that you're saying that Alabama and Ohio State being in the Elite 8, there's a chance that Alabama beats Ohio State because you have them beating Miami. You have Miami in the play. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to shut my mouth because I strongly disagree with a lot of who you've picked here. I strongly disagree.
You obviously. I mean, what's worse then in your mind? Is it?
Well, dude, I have a super hot take, and I've got to be honest, it's not an original thought. I've seen it kind of popping up on radars, but I've never been a Carson Beck believer. I don't even think he's going to have the starting job in Miami come halfway through the season.
Okay, based off of what, bro?
I don't think he's that good.
Hey, who's the backup?
No idea.
Okay. Case
no idea.
closed.
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. Miami's not the team.
A guy who lost 3 football games at the University of Georgia is going to lose his job in the ACC.
Because Georgia undoubtedly has one of the best defenses in college football, and they carried Carson Beck. You know this, Jason. You know this.
Bro.
I'm flipping it to the correct bracket.
Bro, I mean, all right, let's go. Let's see what you got.
Correct bracket.
All right, so at the top, obviously, as you can see, this is labeled correctly, so I'm glad we're off to a good start here.
You're such a jerk.
Incorrect playoff predictions presented by former JU kicker Zach Benwick. Okay, go ahead and run this down for me.
All right, I've got Boise State representing the group of 5. Starters returning. I think they're just. I mean, I really don't have much on Boise State.
You don't have to explain it.
I'm not a believer. Okay, I'm going to make this quick, but Oregon being number 5. I think Notre Dame's getting in. I think they're beating Miami. I think they're putting up a fight, or at least, I think they're putting up a fight against Texas A&M.
Well, everybody has them going undefeated. So if you have them undefeated, then just join in, buddy.
Ohio State does not win the Big Ten. I have Penn State winning the Big Ten.
Okay.
I think that I know James Franklin can't finish a frickin' season to save his life, but I think with the hire of Jim Knowles, I don't think it's a bad idea to have Penn State winning the Big Ten.
Okay, so the betrayal of the defensive coordinator is what puts them over the edge this year.
Correct.
Okay.
With a first-year starter in Julian Sand.
Sure.
Okay. Then Georgia. I got Georgia making it pretty far.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas State. I'm a believer in Avery Johnson.
We're on the Wildcats train together. That's fun to see.
We are.
Okay.
And then Arizona State and SMU. SMU, man, their quarterback Kevin Jennings.
Yes.
I think he's a phenomenal player.
Really well in the playoff.
Thank you. I think that he is just I don't know. I see SMU doing pretty good. And anyways, we're going to move on to my quarterfinals because I got nothing else to say about the first round of the playoff. Okay. It's also the most premature CFP of all time. This will change by week 8 for me. Oregon, Alabama. I'm not a believer in Alabama either.
Why?
Because I'm an ACC FSU fan.
Let me explain something to you and why Alabama I almost had going over Ohio State to the semifinal. Okay. Kalen DeBoer is not everything about his offense screams Jalen Milroe shouldn't be in it. And he was in it, and he had to obviously curate the entire offense to him, not who DeBoer is, and they still go 9-3 with an upset, obviously, to Vandy. Bad look, I get it. But now he's got the guy in there that he wants, Ty Simpson. He brings Grubb in, the offensive coordinator, who is his guy. Their defense is going to be unbelievable. They pretty much bring back everybody on the defensive side of the ball. There's no reason for Bama not to go 10-2 and to make a run. So, I mean, if you're just not a believer in DeBoer, I guess I could understand that. But as far as I get it, we don't know who Ty Simpson is. We don't know who he's going to be.
Correct.
We had a lot of familiarity with Jalen Milroe. Obviously, I do.
Yes.
He literally torched Georgia 3 times. He was unstoppable. Of all people, we cannot figure him out for the life of us. However, 100% on today, without playing a football game, this offense of Alabama will be better with Ty Simpson than it was with Jalen Milroe.
Well, listen, you mentioned my point, and that was my point, is that we have no idea who Ty Simpson is. So that's part of the reason. Once again, I haven't seen a lick of Alabama football, and as long as anybody else has. I haven't watched the practices. I haven't watched them in a game. So I can't sit here and say that I'm a believer in Alabama, but I'm a believer in Dan Lanning and Dante Moore, which is why I have Oregon over Alabama. Mm-hmm. I've got Ohio State and Penn State playing again. And I think Ohio State comes out on top this time. I don't think Ryan Day loses to them. I think Ryan Day loses to Michigan again. Freaking said when Ryan Day got hired, I'm going to hang 100 on Michigan. He's 0-4.
Yes.
Georgia, Clemson. I've got Georgia over Clemson. I think by this time in the season, similar to what you said, Jason, although I'm not an early believer, I'm just pessimistic and skeptical of Gunnar Stockton. But I think come this point of the year with Kirby Smart, Gunnar, and the rest of the Georgia offense, I think they beat Clemson. I don't think Clemson's a worthy enough opponent to stop
Real quick, I think I've seen more people just on my feed and on articles and all of these things. I think I've seen more people picking Clemson than I've seen pick any other team. Not just like more pick Clemson this year than in years past.
But Jason, they do this. Clemson fans and analysts.
It's not just Clemson fans.
No. I was getting there. Clemson fans and analysts choose Clemson every year. They're the preseason champions once every 2 years. And the same thing, not champions, but Florida's the same thing. They're preseason merchants. Preseason, Florida has all this hype. They get to week 9 and 3 of their starters are injured.
Well,
moving down to SMU Texas in-state game. Texas obviously wins that one. Texas Georgia, I think Arch Manning comes over with Sarkisian and they go to the national championship. Ohio State beats Oregon. And I got Ohio State as the national champions back-to-back years.
Golly. I mean, how much did your soul cost when you sold it?
I actually
you sold it for a freaking
stand Ohio State.
You sold it for a freaking Whataburger patty is what you did.
5 of them.
Wow, you've done that.
I have done that.
Ohio State to pick them. I mean, where is the humanity?
Jason, they have the best player in college football.
They have the best 2 players in college football. Actually, right. They have the best player on offense.
Yes.
And they have the best player on defense. Caleb Downs is undoubtedly the best player on defense in college football, in my opinion. The best safety that we've seen in, I don't even know how long. I couldn't name another one that I think is on his level.
Derwin James.
We can't do this. We can't do this. Let's see what the chat has to say as we wrap things up. You've got Ohio State, and I've got Georgia with a Notre Dame-less bracket. Glenn C. says John Summerall is the rising star. CJ Ellis, the X Factor for Notre Dame. He's got a lot of no-blooded. Yep. I think I saw some other guys in the chat as well. I'd have to go back and we'll revisit those. Appreciate you guys hopping in this week and every week, spending your Friday mornings with us. Look, again, next week we're going to get to it. Every reason why Georgia is going to be better, not only better this year than last year, not only why their offense will be better this year than last year, but every reason why they would win the national title. And look, and I've teased it for a week or two, as we have about a minute, I believe, to go here. Next week is going to be FSU. What is the floor? What's the ceiling? What are the fan expectations? Right? What are the expectations on Thomas Castellanos? What's the best it could go? What's the worst it could go? Right? Florida. Obviously, I have seen a bracket or two where they're making it as a 9-3 football team. Okay, let me just put that out right now. It's not going to happen.
No.
Okay, not only are you not going to go 9-3 because of the schedule, let me just caution this, and we're going to touch more on this next week. If you think DJ Lagway is going to play 12 straight football games, I think you're delusional.
I agree.
I think you're delusional. And he's your only shot, in my opinion, of even going 8-4. If he misses a football game, then what? If he misses a stretch, then what? Like let's. I'm not gonna be the guy to hey, let's just focus on the bowl game first before we focus on the playoff. But I think we have got to be realistic and say, look, the guy hasn't practiced all year. He's just now practicing in the last week or two in full with the team. How much better is he going to be right away? Right? You've got to get out to a hot start. You've got to take care of even USF and Miami because you're not beating LSU and Baton Rouge, and then you go on a stretch that's, it's one of the worst I've ever seen. I get it. I'm not going to sympathize with you because that's the nature of the beast, but that's just the fact of the matter. So we're going to get to that next week. We'll have UCF, their floor, their ceiling as well. Miami as well. Obviously, I just told you Miami, I think, is going to go and represent the ACC as well as Clemson in the college football playoff. And Carson Beck will lead them there. But I believe that's about all the time we have today. Once again, appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. Stadium Pulse every single Friday, 9 to 10 a.m. And once game starts, starting September 8th, that Monday will be Mondays and Fridays every time, 9 to 10 a.m. Bringing you more college football takes, reviews, predictions, and giving you guys an opportunity in the chat as well. Stadium Pulse presented by Nimnik Buick GMC and Southside Baseball Association. Britton Austin show coming up. And
when it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnik, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnikBuickGMC.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnik, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnik Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnik has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness, and most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnik. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnik GMC. We are professional grade.
Putting your needs first. It's the backbone of how First Florida Credit Union does business. In all honesty, you might as well be speaking another language when it comes to finances. Sure, I'm good with my money, but what am I missing in the fine print? That's what led me to First Florida Credit Union. They're the perfect choice for anyone starting their financial journey because they